Liza Page.
Hello, everyone. Hello there.
How are you, darling?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I was worried about you yesterday, having to go to the hospital.
Well, we're all getting on. Is Liza and I actually we're looking at our birthday dates. We're both over now 35.
I know. Time marches on,
doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Yes.
I do believe I am 6 months older than you.
Oh,
That's why I'm allowed to boss you around. You see, I'm older.
And I'm in love with an older woman. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This television gives us an opportunity for a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Yes, it
really. Well, we've had some live reviews this morning, and now we're bound to have some more. I have to sit here and make sure that she moderates her language occasionally. But you know, you heard me talk about Barbara Waters. And Barbara Waters is a famous American commentator.
Oh, she was the best.
Yes, absolutely superb. And I have to say that my assessment of people's abilities, and you've heard Philip mention this too, that I butter people up, and I'm not at all. I am just very, very good. I've had 60 years of assessing professionalism in this business. And I have to say that Liza is better than Barbara Waters.
Oh, and, no. That's a very nice thing to say, but no, there was only one Barbara, I tell you.
Well, maybe one Barbara, but there's only one Liza.
But I learned a great deal from Barbara Waters, so I really did. You know, I always try my entire life. Any teachers that I have, I select them very, very carefully, you know, because I know that it's my choice and they're going to have great influence in me. Barbara always said, and I think one of the secrets of her successes was she does incredible research on the person she's going to interview before she interviews. And I learned that. I mean, unless you do your research, forget it. You're useless. You know, you have to know your subject, and you should. If someone's allowing themselves to be interviewed by you, of course you've got to read up on them and know a lot of things before you talk to them. It's only good manners, isn't it? Look, what I don't have your talent for going in there cold turkey. I don't know how you do it, Keith.
Well, you know, the other thing that there are certain ways of doing reports, and the standard is that what you do is you write a script, and then what we say is paint pictures.
Yes.
And Bell, the reporter, I've forgotten his first name, but then that happens to me nowadays. He actually set the industry on its head, because what he did was he laid down the pictures and then he did the commentary. Mm-hmm. So there's always that challenge of in fact, I think we've got one little strap line: Mirador Television thinking outside the box. Mm-hmm. And although there are certain ways of doing things, we always think of an alternative way. And that way it keeps us fresh but I think that we make a contribution to the industry. Who else has a cleaner behind them when they're talking about serious politics?
Well, that lets people know that we work in a clean place.
Absolutely. Yes, we wash our hands after every meal. Most people wash their hands before the meal. Away you go, darling.
Well, it's been a heavy, heavy duty week for me emotionally, and with the stuff that is going on. Nothing's going to really change, I don't think, after the elections, because the parties are all the same, aren't they? They're all one club, so to speak. They have a few little different rules here and there, but not too many.
Oh, there's certainly the Westminster Club. You're quite right there. Yes,
not too many. And the world is in a very, very sad state. I mean, come on, every time you turn on that machine. One thing I would like to ask you, though, you might know this answer: are we at war or not?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I think it's like everything that's going on today is it's a fuzzy answer. The purist answer would be yes. The pacifist answer would be, well, we're not clubbing one another's brains out yet.
No.
So I think it was a year or two before either you or I were born, but 1938, 37, 38, that era was known as the Phony War.
Well, that was a year before I was born, just before they started the big one.
But I think we're probably replicating now the Phony War.
Getting ready to go into
yeah, that's right. But whether, in fact, the reality will come or not. But nobody really believed then that it would be a real war. Nobody believes now. Will history repeat itself? It has a. It has a.
Keith, it tends to.
Tends to. Yes, indeed.
And the way this monkey is going on over there in Israel, antagonizing everyone and just slaughtering, mass slaughter. It's not war; it's mass slaughter, as we all know. I think we have to go to war. I mean, I cannot understand the Israeli people. I mean, they're marching and all that. Well, why don't you just pick him up, go and get him?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you could say the same thing about our own leaders, couldn't you? Why don't we?
Yeah, why don't we?
Yeah.
Why don't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I always feel very guilty when I actually say to people, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I don't do it myself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I do live in a comfort zone. I like having my drink with Liza Page. I like having my chat. I like the fact that I'm able to pick up a phone and do that. If, in fact, some of the things that I would recommend are implemented by people, is all that would end.
Absolutely. But it's going to end, I think, God, I hope not. I hope not. I hope the British people rise up and get that British spirit that we had.
Yes. You and I have only got about 50 more years to live. So,
well, I want those 50 years to be good years. I don't want, to have to live under this Chinese regime, which is what they're bringing on very, very quickly, and what they have planned for Britain. And this world takeover. I mean, the BRICS and all these powerful people. You can never sit down and have a conversation with them. Of course you can't.
No. They have their own agenda, and that's it.
They send the go for it. This is going to be very interesting. They had Anthony Fauci, the little guy who said we've got to wear 5 masks, and responsible for the so-called pandemic and the close downs and the whole thing. this little elf was so evil. It's really quite incredible. Anyway, they had him with a bunch of lawyers over there in America. I've got it written down. It was some society sort of thing, they got, and I almost felt sorry for him. He got himself all twisted up in knots. There was one lady there called Green. Oh, did she know her stuff? And she said something about science and blah, blah, blah. So he said, well, no, I'm not are you a scientist? Well, no, he twisted it, So she said, so you don't know what you are then, in other words. He couldn't answer one question without, he didn't look totally guilty. And in the end, I've had a terrible time. People have tried to kill me, and little tears in the eyes. No, and she turned around and she said, you, sir, you're not a doctor. You should be in prison. And came on very, very strong indeed. And you'll never find a better grueling than he got. Whether it will make any difference, Keith, I don't know. But it was better than nothing. I think they're going to start to keep hammering him because they have got to have a fall guy for the pandemic, you see. Now, he was in it with a hell of a lot of other people. We all know this. Oh, and the torturing of the dogs. They had big pictures of that, of the beagle hounds that were unspeakable things done to them in the name of research. He said he didn't have anything to do with that. Of course he did, and it's one lie after another. So I think they might just keep pushing it. They've got to have a fall guy. So it might possibly be Fauci. So that was very interesting. It was a good bit of entertainment, I can tell you. Anyway, oh dear, there's nothing sort of really focused on out there at the moment. You've got Israel and, the slaughter of Gaza and all that. That's a continual thing. But they turn around, there's no sign of it stopping, Keith. He says, no, this war will last until 2025, easy. And now you have, the Ukraine thing, they're not giving in. Look, we know that both sides back this, Russia's in it, America's in it, we're in it. Come on, let's have a punch up and make some money. That's where it boils down to. It's like a fellow who owns both football teams. He can't lose, can he? Or someone who backs every horse in the race. It's
yes,
very, very depressing because so many people are losing their lives and will continue to do so, Keith. It will be some terrible slaughter. Anyway,
could I just, is one of my famous red herrings.
Yes.
During the Falklands War, a friend of mine in Northern Ireland, because I was in Northern Ireland at that particular time, did an article for the morning newspaper. Let's see, it's called the Belfast Newsletter. Wrote an article pointing out that all but one of the weapons used in the Falklands War by Argentina and Britain were made by Holland and Wolff or Short Brothers.
Yeah, they got the concession. You see. Would you turn it down? Okay, let me have a little go with this now. Rhoda Wilson, The Exposed, very good writer. Bill Gates can either fix cows to stop their emissions or you can make beef without the cow. Yeah. Last year, self-appointed globalist technocrat Bill Gates said of global emissions are from cows. You can either fix the cows to stop them doing that, or you can make beef without the cow, he said. To reduce emissions, he said, for richer nations, the only solution was synthetic protein alternatives. And for Africa and other poor countries, we'll have to use animal genetics. Although this is last year's news, we are reminding readers that Gates and his cronies aim to do just that. See, he hasn't been mentioned for a little while. It's cooled down. These people coming on even stronger. Okay, now this might show a bit of promise. Rhoda Wilson, The Expose. Lab-grown meats are bad for our health. Case be weaponized and are a tool to phase out farmers. Can be weaponized and are a tool to phase out farmers. Lamb-grown meat faces significant hurdles in the US as multiple states push for bans. Nice.
Push for
bans.
Right.
Trying to ban it over there.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, it's okay. Despite initial optimism after US approved lab-grown meat in June 2023, federal lawmakers are also considering retribution, is it? I don't know. Anyway, something. The industry is fighting back with Upside Foods launching a petition and Good Meat exploring legal options. They argue their projects are safe and that bans stifle innovation. Critics claim lab-grown meat is unhealthy, citing concerns about unnatural production, possesses and potential health effects. I put up here shit food. International resistance is growing, with Italy banning lab-grown meat and France considering similar measures. Proponents argue these products are crucial for global protein needs, while opponents stress the importance of natural foods. The future of lab-grown meat is uncertain amid ongoing legal and political battles. Well, look, it's something. Somebody's trying to do something about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the one beauty about the democratic system, frail though it is at least, people name your MP again who stood up in Parliament and was brave enough to.
Andrew Bridgen,
yes,
lovely.
At least our system permits that. Even if people are loath to listen, at least he has the floor. Yeah. And it would appear that democracy is not totally dead in some of the countries you just mentioned.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, yes. Anthony Fauci testifies before the House Select Subcommittee on Coronavirus Pandemic. Chaos erupts as Marjorie Taylor Greene charges into him. You can watch this on Forbes Breaking News on YouTube 6 days ago. Marjorie Taylor Greene calls for Fauci to be tried and sent to prison. Yeah. Well, she's got a strong point there. Whether that'll happen or not, I've no idea, Keith, but, here's a nice little one. Jacinda Ardern one of the Fauci group, one of the heavyweights. Melinda Gates donates to women and girls around the world. Jacinda Ardern gets $20 million for destroying New Zealand. Well, it's a nice payday, isn't it? A nice little payday there.
What does she be doing $20 million for nominally? I mean, they didn't just give her a check and say there's $20 million. They must have had some reason. Do you have any reason?
Yes, Melinda Gates has got a certain amount of money. That's are they divorced yet? Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yes.
Have got all this money, and they're dividing it between people that have done good works.
That's always a good catch-all.
Yeah,
good works.
Good works. Yes. This I have found incredibly upsetting. Put me in a state of real depression that I had difficulty getting out of. This Kate Middleton business.
Right.
They're no longer referring to her as Princess Catherine. No, that's finished. She's now Kate Middleton. Yeah.
And now who's they?
With the general, the internet. And anybody talking about her and what's
I think this is quite controversial because yesterday I've been listening to you quite carefully about this, and I'm always cautious before we've got absolute proof because she cropped up yesterday.
Yes, did you see her?
There was a picture in the paper with her being quoted. Now
the thing is, Keith,
I'm very, very. I accept the frailties and weaknesses of our media system, but I am very loath to say that any of my colleagues are members of a conspiracy unless I can prove it.
Well,
so tell us what the internet is saying.
They're saying that the pictures of her are fake.
Right.
And they have been proven to be fake. That you've got 1 minute. They're saying that she's under chemotherapy, this very strong mustard gas drug. And she must stay away from everybody. That's why she's not seen about or anything. The next minute, she's doing normal things. She is seeing her friends and her family, and she is out and about. Look, if you're out and about, you're well.
Well, it's the thing with somebody like Kate Middleton is quote future Queen of England is the paparazzi at their gates all the time. It is very difficult for them to be secretive.
Exactly. So how come that nobody saw her go into that hospital? Now the papers were surrounded. Come on. You couldn't have gotten rid of them. Nobody saw her go in for this operation, and nobody saw her come out. Now, if they say, well, it landed on a helicopter on her, the press would have known about it.
Indeed.
I mean, they really, but there has, and no visitors, only the prince. They saw him go in, stay 2 minutes and come out. So there's too much intrigue about the whole thing. And the publicity from the palace has been handled so badly, so terribly badly. And when you do that and you make these silly, stupid mistakes, of a picture of her with a child that was plainly, with the children, was plainly edited.
Yeah.
And she said, I confess I edited it myself. I do a bit of amateur editing. It was all rubbish. Now, when you do that on a continual basis, making fools of the press, then they don't believe anything you say.
I have to say, Liza, again, I've got a slight reservation about this explanation. I'm not saying it's wrong, is because I've been following the PR for Lewes District Council and for East Sussex County Council, and they are rubbish. They are not trained. They don't understand what PR is.
No.
They are putting their feet all over the place, and everybody's saying, "Oh, they've got PR. Look, they're letting us know." Rubbish, absolute rubbish.
And that's what's going out to the public.
Exactly.
That sort of work.
I think that widespread is we are back to Tony Blair's time and spin doctors, not public relations people.
Yeah. And they're very dangerous.
Yes, they are.
These people. Anyway, the scuttlebutt that is coming out of the palace, the scandal, so to speak, that he was, the prince was very, very friendly with a lady called Rose, who is more connected to royalty than Princess Catherine is. I'm still going to call her princess because she is.
Oh yes. I mean, there's nothing official so
now,
far.
Then they say that there's something was going on there, and then it died down. But then he chose to bring her into the palace. Her and she has, I think, children. And now, since Kate's been away, that woman is at the palace all the time, invited by Queen Camilla, and Rose's little boy also was usher to the king on one occasion, which didn't seem quite right. It should have been Prince Catherine's little boy and William's little boy, not Rose's. I'm sorry. And she seems to be digging her heels in more and more. Yeah. And then there was publicity that the prince was going to somewhere, had an engagement somewhere, and had to take a plane, and she was on another flight, was going to meet him there. Well, all this stuff coming out, is this going to do this poor girl any good, who's having a bunch of mustard gas pumped into her, apparently on a regular basis? I think it's so cruel, and I feel desperately sorry for her. But the thing is, we're getting, as you said, the rubbish reporting and all that business. The British public have a right to know the truth, and they're not getting it.
We need to know the truth. And that has got to be partly the fault of the palace.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's absolutely appalling.
Yeah. Come clean. Once speculation gets going, I mean, you can speculate and come up with 1,000 different consequences. The only way to stop that is by being totally open and honest and telling things as they are.
If they have marital problems, this could probably have brought on a cancer, poor woman. I mean, well, what a terrible thing to do to her. But, we don't know the truth. I mean, we've been forced to speculate because of the bad reporting, as you said. But you asked me last week what was mustard gas, and for the life of me, I blacked out. I couldn't give you an answer. Now then, you know more about that than I do, because they brought it on in the First World War.
In the First World War, it was developed as a gas to kill people, and it was known as mustard gas because apparently, unlike a lot of gases which couldn't be seen, this could be seen in a yellowish sort of thing, and you could see it coming towards you, and there was nothing much you could do about it.
Horrific. Well, chemotherapy is made out of mustard gas. Yes, right. And well up on that, because I've lost quite a few relatives. In fact, I'm the only one left now, except I'm a nephew, with the dreaded C. And several of them, not all, but several of them had chemotherapy. my brother in particular, and I used to sit and wait at the Cafe Nero before it was Cafe Nero. I used to sit there like some pathetic little dog waiting for my brother to arrive because I was so looking forward to seeing him, but dreading it. Dreading seeing him come in. He was always immaculate. And the slowness of walking across the road on this chemotherapy, this mustard gas, which was making him sicker and sicker and sicker. And he would cross the road. He would try so hard to be happy. He would kiss me and say, "Come on, let's have a drink." It was a wine bar in those days. And then he would say, "Sib, you've got to go home. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to drag you out like this, and I come with you." It brought so much back, and this was my brother. My sister lost a child with this. It's so many things affected me, and I thought, and we don't know anything about this woman, what they're doing to her. If they're pumping her full of this, my heart goes out to her for the simple reason there are cures for cancer that they won't let on the market. Yeah. And this mustard gas, this chemotherapy is not a cure. No, it's not a cure. Well, I'm sorry, I must go on. No, I'm getting emotional.
It's very poignant, and there's nothing like personal experience. And you've got a whole fistful of things that you wanted to talk about today. But in fact, because we've been talking,
we've got to go.
Gone for 40 minutes we've been on.
Yes.
And Deck needs to open up his pub, believe it or not.
No, let him open up his pub.
We'll either leave it until next week, or if you feel so inclined, you can come on a second time during the week.
Let me phone you about that.
Okay.
Will you?
All right.
Yeah. This is terribly, terribly important to me and people in general, and I do have some quite serious information on that.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
listen, Kate, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well, my darling.
What a Monday!
What a lovely, beautiful woman she is.
What a Monday to get started on. It's been the programs this morning have been rather more. We use the word powerful, rather more powerful than they are normally on a Monday. We have really kicked off in a very strong way. There are questions to be asked right across the political spectrum, the social spectrum, the administrative spectrum, the governance spectrum. And they are not going to go away. And we are here to continue to ask them. Liza, thank you very much once again
for
your very solid research and your very perceptive comments. We will be back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Until then, we say, not because we want to, but because we have to. Toodle pip.
Toodle pip. Bye-bye.